Did you know that oil and gas are transformed into plastic? Today, we're going inside this recycling process to see what no one shows you. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Let's get started.
Phase 1. Raw material extraction. The plastic manufacturing process begins with the extraction of hydrocarbons that will serve as the base. Most plastics come from oil and natural gas, resources found underground that must be extracted through specialized industrial operations. Crude oil is a complex mixture of compounds formed over millions of years from organic remains subjected to high pressures and temperatures. To reach these deposits, drilling rigs are used both on land and at sea. The drills pass through different layers of rock until reaching underground reserves. Once the deposit is located, crude oil rises to the surface through pipelines, either by natural pressure or with the help of pumping systems. Each well can produce large daily volumes destined for refineries. The extracted material is not yet suitable to become plastic. It contains impurities such as water, salts, and sulfur, so it must undergo cleaning and separation processes. In addition, during this stage, associated gases are recovered, which will be useful for the petrochemical industry. The crude oil is transported through pipelines, ships, or trains to processing plants. Alternative sources such as natural gas and renewable materials are also being explored to develop more sustainable bioplastics. From here, the industry will begin to chemically transform these molecules to give rise to plastic materials. Phase 2. Refining and component separation. When oil reaches the refinery, it is first subjected to treatments to remove water and solid particles. Then the main stage begins, fractional distillation. The crude oil is heated in large metal towers to nearly 400 degrees. And as the temperature rises, the different compounds evaporate according to their boiling point. Inside the tower, levels are formed where the fractions condense in an orderly manner. At the bottom, the heaviest residues remain, while in the upper zones, gases and light liquids are obtained. Among these products, petrochemical naphtha stands out, a fundamental mixture for plastic manufacturing. However, naphtha still cannot be used directly. Its molecules must undergo cracking, a process that subjects them to high temperatures and steam to break them into smaller units such as ethylene, propylene, butadiene, and styrene. These compounds will be the chemical building blocks of most modern plastics. Each of them will give rise to materials with different properties such as polyethylene, polypropylene, or polystyrene. During this phase, purity and composition are precisely controlled through catalysts and constant analysis, since any variation will affect the final quality. The obtained compounds are stored in pressurized tanks or sent to petrochemical complexes, where their transformation into a solid and moldable material will begin. Refining not only cleans the oil but also determines what type of plastic can be produced. Phase 3. Polymerization, the birth of plastic. Polymerization is the heart of the process. In this stage, the small molecules obtained from cracking join together to form long chains called polymers. To achieve this, industrial reactors are used where pressure, temperature, and specific catalysts are combined. The design of these systems determines the characteristics of the final material. There are different polymerization methods. In some cases, the process occurs in the gas phase, in others in liquid solution or suspension. Ethylene, for example, can be transformed into high or low-density polyethylene depending on the conditions used. If very high pressures are applied, the chains become more branched and flexible. With modern catalysts, more ordered and resistant structures are obtained. During the reaction, millions of molecules bond in fractions of a second. The result is a viscous mass that already possesses the basic properties of plastic: lightweight, chemically stable, and capable of being molded with heat. Engineers constantly adjust the formula to obtain materials suitable for bags, pipes, technical parts, or textile fibers. The control of this phase is extremely precise. Molecular weight, size distribution, and the presence of additives are monitored. Stabilizers, antioxidants, and colorants are also incorporated to improve product performance. Everything occurs within closed systems to prevent contamination and ensure safety. When the reaction ends, the polymer appears as a powder or molten material. It does not yet have a useful shape, but it is already plastic in the chemical sense. From this point, it is transferred to pelletizing lines where it is converted into small uniform pellets that are easy to transport and process in any factory in the world. Polymerization allows the creation of a huge variety of plastic families: polyethylene, polypropylene, PVC, PET, polycarbonates, and many more. Each one responds to specific needs of modern life. And without this phase, oil would remain only a fuel and not the origin of thousands of everyday objects. Phase 4. Extrusion and initial forming. With the pellets ready, the physical transformation stage begins. The material is fed into extruder machines that heat it until it becomes malleable. An internal screw pushes it through gradually heated cylinders, mixing and homogenizing it to obtain a uniform mass. The outlet nozzle of the extruder defines the basic shape of the product. It can be sheets, tubes, profiles, or filaments. As it exits, the plastic is still hot, so it immediately passes through cooling systems that fix the geometry. This method is one of the most widely used for manufacturing packaging, cables, and construction components. Depending on the design, mineral fillers or fibers are added to improve strength, and pigments are also incorporated to obtain stable colors without the need for later painting. Extrusion operates continuously and can produce tons of material per day, making it a highly efficient process. In parallel, other forming techniques exist. Injection molding allows the creation of very precise three-dimensional parts, such as caps, housings, or gears. The molten plastic is injected under pressure into a metal mold, and after cooling, takes on the exact shape. Each method is chosen according to the final use. Temperature control is vital. If the material is overheated, it can degrade. If it is too cold, it will not flow properly. That is why production lines include sensors and automated systems that adjust each parameter in real time. The goal is to obtain identical products, without bubbles or deformations. Now, at the end of this phase, the first recognizable objects already appear. However, they still need to be stabilized, given final dimensions, and prepared for the market. The journey of plastic continues toward cooling and machining stages. Phase 5. Cooling, cutting, and mechanical finishing. The newly formed plastic needs to lose temperature in a controlled manner to maintain its structure. Water baths, air currents, or cooled rollers are used to remove heat evenly. Sudden or uneven cooling could generate internal stresses and deformations. Once solidified, the material moves to cutting stations. Automatic blades or lasers divide sheets and profiles according to the required dimensions. In the case of bottles and containers, flash and excess material from molding are removed. Everything is done at high speed and with millimeter precision. Surface treatments are also applied to improve the adhesion of inks or coatings. Some plastics are textured to give them a matte, rough, or glossy appearance. Others undergo molecular orientation processes that increase their mechanical strength. As with PET films, quality is constantly verified. Samples are taken to check thickness, flexibility, transparency, and impact resistance. If any defect is detected, production is immediately adjusted. Many factories have artificial vision systems capable of inspecting thousands of pieces per minute. At this stage, plastic is already functional, but it can still be customized. Depending on its destination, prints, labels, or assemblies with other materials will be added. The industrial process is flexible and adapts to very different products, from simple bags to medical components. Cooling and cutting represent the bridge between chemistry and the everyday object. Thanks to these operations, the polymer acquires real dimensions and becomes a tangible product ready for its final aesthetic transformation. Phase 6. Printing, decoration, and customization. Most plastic products require visual identification, which is why printing techniques are applied to incorporate logos, instructions, and designs. Screen printing, pad printing, and digital printing are common methods depending on the shape of the piece. Machines operate with extraordinary precision. They can print tiny text or complex graphics on curved surfaces without losing definition. In food packaging, special inks are used that meet sanitary standards and resist contact with the contents. In addition to printing, adhesive labels or shrink sleeves are added to wrap the object. These solutions allow design changes without modifying the original mold. Protective coatings are also applied to prevent wear from friction or exposure to light. In technical products, metal inserts, rubber seals, or electronic components are integrated. Plastic acts as a versatile support that combines with other materials. This phase demonstrates the enormous adaptability of polymers across almost any industry. The entire process is carried out under traceability controls. Each batch is recorded so its journey can be tracked from raw material to the final customer. Customization is not only aesthetic, it also ensures essential information for the user. With decoration completed, the plastic has reached its final identity. It is no longer a generic material, but an object prepared to fulfill a specific function in daily life. Phase 7. Packaging, logistics, and final control. The final step is to prepare the products for distribution. The pieces are grouped using automated systems that place them into boxes, bags, or containers. Palletizing robots capable of handling thousands of units per hour without damaging the material are used. Packaging protects plastic from impacts, dust, and moisture. During transport, through wrapping, separators, or reinforced boxes depending on the sector. Before leaving the plant, a final control of dimensions, weight, and quality is carried out, and rejected items are recycled. Logistics distributes the material by trucks, trains, or ships, while companies implement environmental management and recycling to reintegrate waste into the production cycle. With packaging completed, the material is ready to begin its useful life in homes, hospitals, vehicles, or technological devices. Behind each object, there is an extensive and coordinated industrial chain that transforms natural resources into practical solutions for everyday life. If you were surprised by this journey through the world of plastic, subscribe to learn more industrial processes and leave your comment about what topic you want to see.
What did you think about this process? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.